This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Quite honestly, right? That's kind of the meme-worthy joke I've started coming up with, but I have no clue when you guys are tuning into these videos anymore because, folks, quite simply put, these things either buck right off the start or they all of a sudden by 7 a.m. the next morning are just going wild on the views. So, okay, it's been crazy times. I think that's what I'm actually trying to say is just how crazy this return to YouTube for me has been. Folks, last night we topped a live stream that is top 10 all time on Dolynny TV. Some random Monday night preseason live stream in 2022 out of all the things I've done in my 8 years on YouTube is the ninth best stream I've ever had. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much to everybody who donated last night, and thank you so much for everybody for just watching. It was incredible the fact that we doubled what we did the night previous in an entire game in one period. Stupid crazy town. Now that said, well, we got to get to actually what happened in that game before we talk about number 80 on the Oilers defense. It was not a great game. Obviously, it was not expected to be a great game. I don't think we expected things to go swimmingly for the Oilers when Seattle was dressing a lot of regulars. And we were, what were we doing? Derek Ryan, Matthias Janmark, and Devin Shore top line. Somewhere Dave Tippett was happy, but man, our head coach is Jay Woodcroft. So, right, expected results were expected results. And we lost 3-0. And the Oilers, at last, after 5 games, are no longer perfect in the cumulative 2022-2023 season. That's where we end the preamble. Folks, if you're new to the channel, what I want you to do right now is, like everybody else has over the past month, taken the time to consider subscribing and more than likely hit the subscribe button. We're up 176 subscribers in the past 28 days here on the channel. Absolute loony town numbers. Thank you to everybody who's been a part of that. And now let's get on to it. Above 8,800 subscribers, our first video above that mark. Obviously there's the live stream, but this is the first official video, so thank you for that, by the way, too. Onwards and upwards to 9,000, may I add. Markus Niemelinen, what do we know? Well, he is a big, physical, hard-hitting, good defending defenseman on the left side for the Edmonton Oilers. That is Markus Niemeläinen. Now this kid has a long history with the Oilers. He's been around a long time, and he's played some NHL games last year. He came in and steady eddied for us a little bit. But this year he's looking to earn that larger role. And whether it be as the 7th defenseman or the first guy that gets called up in face of injury, that is his worst case scenario for this season. He is right there. Markus Niemeläinen, and he is showing that in the preseason. I think the Oilers knew what they had in this guy, and that's obviously why he's gotten so much time here in the preseason. But the fact that us fans have been able to build up so much fanfare about him right out of the gate just proves exactly what the Oilers knew they had in him, right? As he is big, I think 6'3". He is hard hitting, like I said. That's what we're all excited about. That's an edge the Oilers don't really have other than Darnell Nurse back there, and he has been clobbering guys since he got called up the first time last year. So it's exciting. It's very exciting to see a guy that you had high hopes for coming into the season, ride into the preseason, and just have everybody gushing about just how good he looks, right? That's the exciting part. And I think, honestly, he is stealing the spotlight from Philip Broberg. But as the media continues to carry the narrative for the Oilers, is Philip Broberg literally has to play his way off the roster. Literally has to play it off. And he may play every single preseason game, and he could play very poorly still, and that would not be bad enough to play him off the roster. And he'll be there for opening night no matter what. However, when it comes down to the things congruent with how things work after we get the LTIR money enacted, well, folks, then there's decisions on Ryan Murray, Markus Niemeläinen, and Philip Broberg, Jason Demers, and whoever else, Vinny Desharnais, you want to throw in there. But yeah, Dmitry Samorukov. But right now we're at very big risk of losing him, so we're just going to kind of hold off on getting too excited about things with Dmitry Samorukov at current. Just hold up, temper expectations there, and let's just really get excited about Markus Niemeläinen because he has looked phenomenal. And I think the Oilers are at a perfect spot. Honestly, would you have ever believed, sorry, the light We have a little bit of an electricity issue in the room here, but would you have ever expected the Oilers to be at such a point with young, up and coming, talented, physical, playmaking, smooth skating defensemen, right? The whole spectrum of defensemen is covered with this young crop of Oilers rookies that goes down from Vinny Desharnais at 27 all the way down to Philip Broberg and Max Wanner and everybody involved. Would you have ever expected the Oilers to be at this point of that much defensive depth where you actually have to be worried about losing somebody of value like Dmitry Samorukov on waivers just to make the opening night roster? That is crazy talk to me. Because, right, the narrative is always how thin the Oilers' blue line is. And even still, if the blue line is weak this year, it's the same blue line that carried us to the third round last year. So I don't see how it's any weaker. In fact, it only gets better by these young guys pushing up. And that's where a lot of folks aren't calculating is just how good and what was made in the broadcast last night, just how good these young Oilers are going to be. The broadcast, Bob Stauffer, Jack Michaels, obviously was very exciting to have despite the very terrible Kraken Jumbotron feed. The broadcast really brought home the fact that, right, Philip Broberg is not there yet. He was there. Philip Broberg of old had a lot of promise. Philip Broberg of new has just as much, if not more, promise, but he's back in the development curve because of adding those 12 pounds of muscle. This is exciting, though, right? You think about a guy physically maturing his body even better than it was at his peak of his career so far. Oh boy, right? Like his youth body, his peak physical youth body of 18, 19 years old, right? That bubble game exhibition against the Flames, that was peak young Philip Broberg. We're now getting the next level Philip Broberg, the NHL ready Philip Broberg, and he hasn't figured that out yet. But as you see game by game, he's going to figure that out. And just how exciting that is for the Oilers is great. And obviously, like I said, he has to play his way off. But then you turn the next depth spot on the roster down, technically speaking, based on last year's results, and you've got Markus Niemeläinen. And that guy is literally right there. He is 100% confident in his body. He knows what his body is. He knows how to defend. He knows what he has to do at the pro level because he's been playing at the pro level for so long, whether it be between Finland and Bakersfield and at the NHL a little bit last year. But for Markus Niemeläinen, it's just unreal how excited we can be about a guy after 2 preseason games. But this isn't unexpected. Right? That it's not like, oh wow, Brandon Pirellini or Ty Ratty, they're having phenomenal preseasons. They look so good. They're going to do so great and roll with us this year. No, this is a guy who is literally fighting to get his spot back. And this is a guy who didn't look bad originally. That's the good part here, folks. That's the great part. And I think that's my favorite part about this is folks are waking up and realizing we have a great crop of youngsters coming up. And Markus Niemeläinen is one of those guys that's going to lead that wave into the next generation of Oilers. But he's right there already. He's literally right there. And how exciting is it to have a guy that you cross the opposing blue line and you are going to get hammered 50% of the time. Right? We're not talking about the NHL where every 5 seconds there used to be a hit. We're talking about the new wave NHL. But you get caught not paying attention 110%. Markus Niemeläinen's going to crush you. And see that as far as we've seen it so far through his Oilers career? Very exciting. It's one of the most electrifying things you get to watch in hockey. Folks, I wonder what your thoughts are. Let me know in the comments section down below, my friends. And of course, if you think this was a good video and you want to stick around for more Oilers talk, consider that little subscribe button there below. Consider hitting that. I'll catch you tomorrow. We'll have the live broadcast. Since it's a 7 o'clock start, what do you say I go for periods 1 and 2 at least, right? That 4 p.m. start was nice to do all 3, but we'll go periods 1 and 2 starting at 6:30 tomorrow night. I think Thursday I've got something booked, but tomorrow we can make something happen. You bring the wings, I'll bring the hockey. We'll meet in between on the beverages because I got my water to keep my voice going, and we'll have ourselves a great evening tomorrow. Folks, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. I am up on out of here.